You are listening to episode 7 of the Underhook Show. As always, my name is Steve, alongside Chris. And it is the Thursday after WrestleMania. Chris, how you doing?
I'm burnt out, but I'm here. I made it through WrestleMania weekend, through Easter weekend, whoever celebrates that, and other things going on that weekend. But I'm here. I'm ready to talk about my favorite weekend in professional wrestling.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm also running on fumes. A lot less valid reasons as others. Um, but I had an okay time. I think there was definitely a void in this WrestleMania weekend, but that has actually been addressed on the other side of the fence. So we'll get into that a little bit later. Before we get into any ongoing discussion about the pro wrestling TV shows or independent shows that happened over the weekend, real quick, a couple of unfortunate losses in the world of professional wrestling. The first being Mongo, that was announced today. So rest in peace, Steve McMichael, and as well as legendary luchador Black Terry passed away a couple days ago. So sad times right now. Two big losses, and didn't want to really just gloss over those. I wanted to at the very least, acknowledge those before we got into the show. So rest in peace, Mongo. Rest in peace, Black Terry.
Where's up for Mongo?
Yeah, 100%, man. My uncle actually cooked in the apartment building he lived in. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
I
so
heard he was like a generally nice dude.
he had a couple of interactions with Mongo and his
I
wife.
shook his hand at StarCast one time, so
That's awesome. Yeah, well, it was WrestleMania weekend. Do you want to start chronologically? Like, do you want to start with the WrestleMania weekend, or would you rather start with TV?
Yeah, let's just start with chronologically. Let's just go in order here, because we're going to burn them quick through. We're not going to label every match on every card. We're just going to talk about what we liked.
This is gonna be very general thoughts with everything.
And it might go right into WrestleMania general thoughts for a 2-night show also, but...
Yeah, no, we're not gonna take too much time on this, because also it's like, people might skip TV and they might want to know what's going on in those TVs, but it's like you probably know what happened on WrestleMania. So
by now you do.
Yeah, but I started my weekend on Thursday. I didn't catch the Dragon Gate USA stuff Wednesday night. I started Thursday with the Pandemonium show, which had Blackwood, Hechicero, Miyu Watanabe, Maya World, and Hyon versus Kingsley, which I also liked a lot. That was a cool show. The stream kept bugging out on me, so I want to go back for Hechicero Blackwood to see it in a much more stable quality. Did you catch anything from that early show?
Thursday, I was busy all day with the fam, but I didn't catch anything until Friday.
And I'll just fire off what else I saw. Yeah, then I was just kind of shuffling between West Coast.
I take that back. I did see Bloodsport.
That was West Coast, yeah, West Coast Prestige, and I was going to say I capped off the evening with Bloodsport. Nothing blow away from the kind of other collective that was going on, because as we established last week, DPW didn't air. That actually aired tonight, which we'll probably want to preview that card at the end of this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 13. A lot of people were shitting on this show before it even happened because, GCW was in bed with WWE for this weekend, but I still thought it was a fun show. I still had a good time with it.
I loved the arena. I loved the vibe. I honestly think it's probably one of the better blood sports that he put out in the past, like better card wise. And yeah, for me, this what always kicks off Mania weekend for me, and I was stoked to watch it. But nothing really like the. I was excited to see the Gabe Kidd Barnett match until it happened.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I thought for a main event it kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, but everything else was pretty dope though. The Natty Neidhart thing was seeing her there was pretty dope.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised actually with Natty's performance as well as Carmen Petrovic versus Maika. I thought was really solid, and I didn't really expect much out of that. Because like I said, I haven't seen Maika working this style, and it's just you don't really know what you're gonna get with NXT talent at this point, just because product of their environment. It's not their fault with what they're being trained. But I thought Carmen versus Maika was fun. My match of the night was probably Shinya Aoki, Charlie Dempsey. I thought that was really, really good. And then I like Zach and Gresham a whole lot. I just wouldn't have done the time limit into the overtime. I think it was a little long in the tooth for me, but it's those two. When they're riffing, it's like, come on, like it's going to be good.
Yeah. My first time seeing Aoki, and I was like, oh, this was my boy we talked about. I watched that video you sent me too, and it was like his highlight video, and I was like, yo, this is sick as fuck. That was probably one of my matches. I actually also liked, for some reason, the Tavian Heights, like, his showing was pretty good too. Like, I really like that.
Him and Royce Isaacs, yeah, that was good too. I think I would have that around or just underneath Zach Gresham, and then
That match was like, because not knowing much of Tavian other than being in No Catch Quarter Crew, whatever they're called.
hmm
But I was like, oh, okay, now I'm kind of invested. I want to see a little bit more of this guy now. So, and then Pete Dunne and Thatch was always gonna. We knew that was gonna be good too. So
I actually have to go back and rewatch that because I was sidetracked during that one, but I heard good things, and like yeah, it's like Timothy Thatcher especially is one of my favorites, so I got to go back and check that one out. But yeah, with Tavion Heights, I mean, I was really impressed with his run in Noah's N1 Victory Tournament, which is just their G1, essentially like round robin rules. And when he gets to show that amateur side off, uh, it really, really works. And I think like those explosive suplexes he was throwing, like yo, let him do that in NXT.
I want to see more now. I'm invested.
Yeah, no, he's awesome, and I hope they have things planned for him.
There was one more show on Thursday that I watched Friday. So I'll just talk about it now.
Yeah, please do, because I actually did not write down everything I've seen.
I watched TNA Unbreakable.
I did not see anything from this, so
I watched
the
it
floor
just
is
because
yours.
I went. The only match that I cared, or that I can honestly remember that I cared about was Mance versus Sammy Callahan. It should have main evented. It didn't main event the show, but that match was. If you like like go like an old school hardcore match, right there, that match was pretty dope. Uh, One point, Sammy Callahan staples Mance Warner's tongue to the door, and
Oh
then
fuck.
hits the door with a chair, so it rips it off of his tongue. Oh, it was
Oh.
awesome. It was great. I loved it. If you like violence,
Yeah, that sounds pretty insane. I did not catch any of TNA Unbreakable. But I'll make a note of that one.
and they crowned a new champion for the international title there too. I think that might have been the main event. Yeah, that might have been. Yeah, that was the main event, which it shouldn't have been. The barbed wire match should definitely have been the main event, but it was. If you go back and check it out, you should definitely. I recommend that match if you're into the deathmatch scene.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to take a note of that. Friday, I think I had a pretty light Friday. I watched a little bit of Tokyo Joshi Pro and ended up snoozing during the day. Nothing against the show. That was more just I was very low energy on that Friday. I think, in our part of the world, in our part of the country of the USA, we like didn't get any sunlight all week. It was very much
Something weird.
overcast vitamin D deficiency hitting strange, and I was just a slug on Friday, so I was very low energy. So I actually put SmackDown on in the background, which I almost never watch SmackDown live, but I did watch the Go Home SmackDown, and then I thought I was gonna fall asleep again, but I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna stick it out for Sabu on spring break."
I just finished spring break today. Oh man, Sabu! Shout out to my man. I don't know.
Yeah, like
I have a few questions though. the
Like
start of the
how the fuck did he survive?
yeah, well, that's the main question. Second question was it was very awkward at the start of that match. Like, I don't know if you remember, but Sabu's in the ring and he's just like he can't get in the ring first of all because the barbed wire is so like he doesn't know how to get in the ring. Like he forgot.
Yeah, like they wound it very like there was like
Yeah,
no give.
and he's like, all right, and then he gets in the ring and I guess he messed up his ankle. Like he pulled a hamstring getting into the ring. I think because he limped around for like the first like couple minutes of that match. And he kept trying to say stuff like to Emil and to Joey. Like it was just really. Me and my friend were watching it today. And we were like, "This is really weird." But then it kicked up, and I said, "All right, never mind. We're back."
Yeah, if he tweaked something, that might explain why the dive into the
Yeah, two,
spider web went so wrong.
yeah,
Because I thought he was gonna go blind. Like legit, like he went head first into that and it just
yeah.
looked
Well, then when he
disgusting.
smacked that door on on the concrete floor when he slid out, and he took that gnarly bump on the floor, he that bruise instantly on his back.
I got a message on Discord when that happened. It was just said, I think Sabu just died.
Yeah, me and my buddy Josh were watching it today, and that was the same thing we said. We're like, why you stop doing this? Like, what are you doing? You don't need to do this anymore. Stop.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was the last time. You knew he was gonna go crazy for it. Seeing Bill Alfonso at his age take a barbed wire bump was
He
crazy, but appreciated just because
missed
it.
half of it, other than his foot. But yeah,
I mean, again, I was in.
I was scared for him. I can tell you that.
Yeah, he
And Sandman taking 30 minutes to come down to the ring as per usual.
yeah, and I think I saw it. I don't remember who it was from, so pardon me. I don't want to take credit for this, but um, someone tweeted like, "Man, like Sabu's last moments on Earth is gonna be a bunch of drunks like singing to the Sandman's entrance," and somebody responded just like, "Well, that's what he would have wanted
But
probably."
yeah,
So, yeah, but
yeah, it,
as an ECW kid, I mean, I wasn't around when I was too young to watch the promotion as it was happening, but like the first pay per view my family ever bought for Mill and I, which they probably shouldn't have, was One Night Stand 2005.
one of
And
my favorite pay per view.
yeah, and after that, it was like I remember getting like the most violent matches compilation DVDs and stuff. So uh, ECW has a place in my heart. I'm going to be watching all of it after I wrap up the 2024 series. So ECW is important to me, and Sabu is one of not their most influential wrestlers. So this was weird. It was crazy, but had a lot of heart behind it, I think.
Yeah, ECW is my one of my favorite promotions growing up because I remember watching it on TV. Like two, I shouldn't have, but it was like 2 or 3 in the morning on like when we from our area we have WCI. We used to have WCIU,
Hmm.
and it came on at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I just that's how I found out about it. And then back in the day, everyone had those little black boxes. Well, and that's how I
Yeah.
watched ECW there too. So
Hell yeah.
I remember I still remember watching every one of their original like pay per view runs, like Barely Legal, all of them, and it was awesome because it was different. It wasn't what I was used to, and that's kind of like where my love for indie wrestling, I guess, came for it too.
Yeah, I mean they were like the forerunners for everything that would come in the 2000s. So,
But
um,
yeah, did you catch anything else from spring break?
let me look at the card. Before I talk about that, I actually forgot. I thought DDT was Saturday, not Friday. DDT was Friday. Thatcher versus Aoki. I think that was my match of the weekend altogether.
I need to watch DDT still. I didn't watch that one yet.
Yeah, and I heard Mao Takeshita was good as well. I did not catch that one. May have been asleep for that one too. Like I said, my Friday was a complete blur. Um, let me look up Spring Break's card.
There was Progress too. I didn't know what day that aired. I still got to go back and watch that Suzuki versus Kara Noir match.
I didn't watch that because I think it started airing at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, I didn't.
Our time.
I didn't watch it either. I just looked at the run sheet and noticed it was on there. There's a lot that we missed, guys. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen, and like when you're trying to do this in a timely manner, if you're not getting paid to watch all these shows and stay up for all these shows, if you're not there on location, it is very difficult. Okay, spring break, I watched Megan Bain Bozella, Zach and Manders, the Mask versus Career match, Suzuki Tremont. I was in and out of the room for Masha and Suzu, but then I watched the rest of the show, which was Gabe and Mance, the old dude scramble, and then obviously Sabu's final match, which was a no rope barbed wire match against Joey Janela.
couple matches we kind of just skipped all over. We really just wanted to watch the no rope barbed wire match while we had the time. So we dove into that, and then I went backwards. But there's some stuff I need to go back and watch. I did watch Bane and Bozilla because I had no idea who Bozilla was, and so watching this, and uh, and then I watched. I did watch the Max versus Career. Uh, I need to go back and watch Suzuki and Tremont because that's like the match I really wanted to see.
I thought it was fine. Tremont's blade job was awesome. I mean, that's kind of
That's his
expected.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I feel like Gabe and Mance would be right up your alley.
Yeah, that's. I'm waiting. I'm licking my chops to watch that. That's like the rematch too, so that's. Whew,
Yeah, and they without spoiling it, they definitely
they don't disappoint.
at least hit the bar of what you would expect with the
Yeah,
like the violence and blood and
and you,
stuff.
yeah, I'm sold.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be right up your alley. So
Sorry. Speaking
oh
of,
good.
there was one more that I did watch that Butterbean Suzuki match from the WrestleCon Super Show also.
What did you think? Because I'm seeing like
Pissed right off.
the most extreme opinions of it being the best and worst thing anyone's ever seen, and I'm just like,
I
I
didn't
feel
like
like
it.
this is just something that happened, but from what I can tell, I guess Butterbean was in like really rough shape a couple of years ago. So the fact that he was able to do this was like a huge accomplishment. So for him personally, I'm like, hell yeah, dude. But yeah, this was take it or leave it. I did not get much out of it.
For him, I'm happy for him. Being able, if that is, cool. Because I
Hmm.
think I could be wrong. I think he would do a DDP yoga. I
Oh
could be
yeah,
I
that would make sense.
I could be wrong. Don't hold me to. But I just figured that's what every like sports person's doing now.
It's done wonders too. You know.
And but as a fan, and I was like, this was okay. Like it going into it, I didn't know it was round based. So it
Yeah.
was kind of like, and it was like a special attraction, 3 round, and automatically just took me out of it. And then it ended on a count out. If I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
disappointed.
it was like a no contest, and then they like
Yeah,
wanted to brawl on the outside, but then they like couldn't really do too much. Yeah, this was weird. It was never not going to be weird, but like not in the weird I think we were all looking forward to.
shout out to Dan the Beast Severn though,
That was awesome, dudes rock. I mean, like that panel, like that.
and Tank Abbott. That was
Yeah, Tank
all.
Abbott. Yeah, it was Severn Abbott and Don Fry.
Yeah,
Yeah, badass. I think the consensus, or at least from opinions that I follow and trust, was that Suzuki's best match was the Adam Priest match, which was on Prestige, which I did not see yet. So I believe that overlap with Bloodsport on Thursday.
I didn't watch that match. I did see the Tankman and Alan Angle match though.
Spoiler alert: our boy went 0-3. Yeah,
It's all
gotta do
right.
something about that.
He's it's a bigger picture coming.
Mm-hmm. For sure, for sure. Yeah. Other than that, I want to go back to the GCW DDT Tokyo Joshi Pro joint show from Saturday morning. I did not get to see. I want to watch that mixed tag still. I believe it was Takeshita and Masha against Aoki and Miyu Yamashita. So that sounds really awesome, and I've seen good things about it. I just haven't got to it personally, but that's always going to happen, like I said, with Mania shows. Even on one that you consider a lighter weekend like this one, you're gonna miss stuff. You're not gonna see everything as it happens. It's just nature of the beast. Um, did you catch anything from the Go Home SmackDown?
Was I doing Friday? I don't. I probably did, but like I said, it's been a wrestling overload for this
Yeah.
week. So, if I did, yeah, I honestly can't remember anything from it. Gotta be 100% honest.
Yeah, it was very much again like I don't think for whatever reason they do the SmackDown in the city of WrestleMania and it's just never lives up to the kind of go home billing. But some interesting observations from it was that I was wrong about it being the Andrade Battle Royal because he was last eliminated. Carmelo Hayes won the Andre.
That I did see that, and I was like, "Damn, we did say there was Andrade," and then I was like, "I totally forgot about Carmelo Hayes."
Yeah, man, they haven't done him any favors since being called up. The Cena Cody go home segment was very strange because like you know the kind of booze that WWE crowds will lean into when like Dom's cutting a promo.
And
They started doing that for Cody. Like he was getting his ass booed out of the room until he turned it around with his whatever digs he made. But I was surprised by that. I figured like it would be pretty split between him and Cena, but it was pretty aggressive towards him. The one thing that genuinely made me I don't want to say upset, but disappointed. So the Motor City Machine Guns were challenging for the titles, and they did a shit finish where DIY ran in. And I'm thinking, all right, here it comes. They're gonna add some sort of match to Mania. And Nick Aldis is like, all right, we're hanging those titles up. It's gonna be a 3-way TLC match next week on SmackDown. And I'm like, man, you know what this Mania show could have used was a TLC match
on night
on
one,
on
preferably.
night one. You know, exactly. You want to talk about WrestleMania then?
Let's just dive right in, buddy.
Um, a show of two nights, in my opinion. I was not feeling night one at all. Uh, it just felt empty. Like it looked fantastic in there, and I'm like, I know I'm watching WrestleMania, but it definitely doesn't feel like WrestleMania.
Night one was a very good episode of Monday Night Raw.
Dude, I wouldn't even go that far for
The
some of the
main event
matches.
saved it, though. So my issue, we'll talk about it when we get there. But
Hmm.
night one was not good with a good ending, as
Hmm.
opposed to where night two was good, and the ending to me fell flat. But I also realized why they did it.
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway from both nights is that I don't know if this is the main event style. I just don't know if it's my thing. Because I have big problems with both show closers. Before we get to those, I was talking myself into Jay Gunther being like acceptable, but I just did not feel like this lived up to the last couple weeks of build. Because as cynical as you could be about the result, I didn't even feel like Gunther was that mean in this match.
He was meaner on the Monday after WrestleMania than he was in the match.
Yeah, like I was expecting at least that,
But
that signature brutal Gunther control to
I,
really
I will
put.
say, sorry to interrupt you, buddy, but
No, no,
I,
no, it's all good.
I will say that kudos for WWE for keeping with us with like a story, if because they're trying to build up that Gunther's like Achilles heel is like he can't tap out of his or he can't break out of his own move
Hmm.
because it's the same thing with Dragunov, same, and I like that they're doing it, but they don't continue to rely on it. My issue being, where do we go from here with Gunther?
I think they're gonna do a kayfabe suspension. He's gonna get a couple weeks off.
Yeah, after what we've seen on Raw, probably.
Yeah, because I'm like, please don't give me a Gunther Pat McAfee match. Nobody needs to see that.
No, nobody needs. Mm-mm.
Nobody needs that. But yeah, I wasn't expecting anything, like fantastic here. It just didn't live up to anything that I thought they could do well, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And I get the continuity of the finish, but I'm almost like I think the impact of hitting all the splashes for the pinfall would have hit harder. That 3 count, everyone pops, he gets his belt. And that didn't happen either. So I'm just like, all right, whatever with that. And then like the rest of this card, like the tag team title match was fine, but that was very much like this should have been on TV.
they should have replaced that TLC match. Should have replaced that.
Yeah, I would
I
I would
don't get me
agree.
wrong. I'm happy for the New Day. Happy for the War Raiders. Cool. But you needed some meat and potatoes on night one.
Yeah, this very much felt like this was on here for the Clash of Clans product placement and nothing
Yeah,
else. Which I get that's the era that we're in, but it was like, come on, like I didn't even think this was a bad match. It was just a match that happened. I have nothing else to really say
a
on it.
good TV match.
Yeah. Um, Jade Naomi, same thing. I mean, this at least had build behind it. They did this weird production thing with the finish where like Jade did that sweet like that pop up power bomb, but like where like her back she had to like rotate.
Yeah,
But they did a camera cut right when Naomi was hitting the mat, and I thought she landed on her neck for a second. But it looked good on the replay. But I thought that was okay. I think a lot of people are into this Naomi character as a heel. I just haven't seen enough of it to really have a fully fledged opinion. But you got anything on this match?
I'm the same as you. I haven't really seen much of the Naomi. I'm not against it because I like the fact that they're trying Naomi as a heel again.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what's up now. What they should have done, it just made Bianca and Jade the heels. But hey, I like where they're going here.
Yeah, and I mean Bianca wasn't on Raw. I think they're gonna pick back up on this, where all three of them are gonna be brought back together, and we'll get kind of the true nature of everything. But for what this was, it was fine. I think for Jade's first, this had to be like her first really big singles match, right?
In WWE.
Like on pay per view,
Yep.
or again,
It's
we're
mostly
not
just been
gonna call it.
it's been mostly just tag matches.
Yeah, so I think for that she did all she needed to. Um, there's some disjointed parts, but it's like when you're not sticking her with somebody who can lead the match entirely,
Yeah.
that's gonna happen. So I'm not like,
And it wasn't like Naomi was a bad person to have in the match, like leader too. It was just it did what it had to do.
yeah, it was fine. I'll say that it was fine. I actually liked Fatu versus Knight.
Yeah, I'm I was in all we already talked about it. I was all in on Fatu winning that belt, so I knew it was happening. But it was a good match, good SmackDown match.
Yeah, again, 10 minutes 38 seconds. It wasn't like what you'd expect for a title match on the big show, but fine for what it was. I didn't catch the moonsault BFT stuff everyone was talking about, and I didn't go back and rewatch anything from Mania. But I guess some people said it looked awesome. Other people said it was a botch. I
Yeah,
couldn't tell you.
I was on cruise control because I was at work all day Saturday, but I was on cruise control up until like the main event. Like I was getting results until like
Hmm.
probably like later on.
Yeah.
I,
Following that, it was Chad Gable versus Ray Phoenix on 24-hour notice.
Shout out Ray
Because,
Phoenix.
yeah, Rey Mysterio, he got hurt because he did the Battle Royal and then they did a American Made versus LWO 6 man. And I think they did a spot where it was like, you drag out the guy making a pin where he falls to the floor. And I think Ray landed the wrong way on the outside, which took him out of the match. This is a good point to bring up the fact what the fuck? WWE purchased AAA.
And then I heard today, don't know if it's true, that AAA fired Del Rio. Now, hear me out. This was one of my main issues with them purchasing AAA was I didn't want to see Del Rio back on my TV.
Yeah, because he was their mega champion.
Yeah, and he's fighting. And first of all, how is he still able to do all that if he's fighting fans in Tijuana? None of this makes sense to me.
I didn't
But
see anything about that.
oh, you didn't hear nothing? Hmm. He was he's banned from wrestling in Tijuana for like 6 months
Wow.
because AAA did a show down there. A fan was throwing like I don't know if he was throwing stuff at him or threw like a coin at him or something, and then Del Rio jumped in the crowd and threw a chair at him and hit an old lady,
What the?
and then he got banned from Tijuana for 6 months. Then AAA did another show, not in Tijuana, I guess some other place, with a title match with Del Rio, and then people were thinking that they were going to take the belt off of Del Rio, and they didn't. So I don't know what's going on.
I've really increased the amount of lucha I've watched for 2024, but I haven't watched a single AAA show. I don't even know. I think it's on Triller, but I could be wrong. I'm very much a CMLL guy, and then like independents like IWRG, Lucha Memes, like Zona 23, like the junkyard shows.
I watch. I was about to say the only one I watch is Zona because
Zona's awesome.
I love junkie. I love hardcore. I love just different stuff.
Hmm.
Love me some Zona.
Shout out Elio Del Fishman. But I don't really have much to say on the whole doom spiral because I do think it is a negative for WWE to be buying because AAA isn't like an indie; it's a major company. It's the number two company in the country that has a reverence and respect for lucha libre. It's part of their culture. It's a very important thing. Uh,
And then you
and
have
it's
El
not.
Grande Americano.
Yeah, like that's a very good. Like I say that sarcastically, obviously, but it's like great job of being like, hey, we just bought this company, and here's something that's a mockery. Um,
And then seeing the cursed photo of Vikingo with Triple H. Ugh.
yeah, look, I don't think by any means this is a good thing that this happened, but I don't think we're going to truly understand what this means for a couple of years at least. I think this is going to take some time to see the true ramifications of it. And I'm also a little bit worried that this is not stopping with a Lucha Libre company. Because even if Lucha is, the one that's more ingrained into like a country's culture, so to speak, um, Marufuji was taking pictures with Shawn Michaels,
Well,
and
I already said that it's only a matter of time. We're gonna get WWE worldwide. That's what we're gonna get.
now there is one thing I want to clarify on this too. They can't just go in there and buy Pro Wrestling Noah because Noah's owned by Cyber Agent, which is like a big media company. Uh, so like they would have to go through them to get that deal done. I believe last year they were trying to buy All Japan, which is a different situation entirely. So they are sniffing around. Um, Sendai Girls was posting before Meiko Satomura announced her retirement match, and the translation essentially says Sendai Girls will not be acquired for now. And I'm like, well, that's kind of damning if you're putting that caveat of for now. So it's like the landscape's going to change. I don't like the idea of a duopoly where it's like WWE starts buying a bunch of promotions, but then everybody else works with AEW. Like, I think collaborating is good. Getting guys on TV, getting other wrestlers to work in other places and learn things, all wonderful, especially if all of them are getting paid.
Especially for us wrestling fans, also. So
Yeah, which, AEW announced they're doing actually one of the 4 hour blocks is in Arena Mexico,
I uh,
which will be
I
awesome.
I have something about that too. Just a little sidebar. Bandito and CMLL seem to reconcile because I read a report on that.
Oh man.
But take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna let Roosh come back too, because I mean he's had issues with Arena Mexico outside of SEMA. Like I believe him and LA Park both got banned for a while. Um, after they had I want to say it was a LLE match, where they were bleeding like crazy and throwing that locker at each other's heads.
I vaguely remember that one, but yeah.
Yeah, that was like I believe it was it was either 2016 or 2018. Um, Amazing match, by the way. But yeah, it's almost more interesting to see who are they going to let in Arena Mexico. Um, because lucha politics are something I do not have my head wrapped around at all. But I could say at a very, 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 very surface level, they are very complicated, and
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
It's like some like crazy like gang warfare down there with them lucha libres. So
I mean, Penta and Ray Phoenix got to work there last year, but they they went in there as Lucha Brother and King.
yeah, I remember that
Were they,
one.
yeah, yeah. So very interesting stuff developing.
And didn't like AAA like try to, or the owner like with Stephanie Van Cure like try to hurt her or something, or not the owner, but someone tried to kill her in there or something. I don't know. I
Oh
read.
man, that is a real nasty situation.
I said
Essentially, they were like backing up again. Don't quote me 100% on
grain of
this.
salt with everything here. Just
We're not even great at all. Just I'm not aware of everything
oh
in the
yeah, right.
situation that happened, but I want to say like they were like basically backing her abuser.
Yeah. See.
It was like a real nasty situation, and they rolled her out there for the fucking press release.
Yep. They had all her and Andrade was standing out there making weird faces. It wasn't looking too hot.
No, it's a like I said, this is a very complicated thing that for now I would just label as a negative, but we don't know the true ramifications of it. On a much lighter note, this match was good. Obviously, if you can't get full enjoyment out of it over the gimmick, I don't blame you whatsoever. But like I said, if you put them both in blank wrestling gear, I think you would still enjoy it.
Could have gave me Chad Gable and Phoenix any day of the week, and I would have enjoyed this.
Yeah,
And then but you had to, but you just had to do this. I don't understand it, but
I will give them credit. I think they did a good job of taking the designated spots of this match and tailoring it to Phoenix's offense. Like the finish was clearly that Rey Mysterio was going to 619 the loaded mask.
yeah,
So they flipped it to where it was just Phoenix could just do a tightrope walk kick into it. Gable put the ankle lock on the wrong leg, but that's, I don't know how many people are going to actually notice that.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, they did a bunch of cool stuff. The moonsault senton was crazy.
Yeah, like I was just happy to see Phoenix. Like 24-hour notice, go out there and you're having your first WrestleMania match, like albeit against Chad Gable. Like it should have been Chad Gable, not Grande Americano.
Yeah,
But
it's unfortunate.
I was just, hey man, shout out to Phoenix for being able to get that spot.
Yeah, we'll have a whole lot to talk about over the kind of the big TV companies working with the luchadors because I think the Worlds Collide show and the AWCMLL show are like a week apart or 10 days apart.
I'm
They're
getting
both in
my
like
lucha fix.
early mid June. Yeah, so I'm sure we'll have a lot to say on it at that point. But yeah, two more matches on WrestleMania Saturday. Excuse me. Uh, I thought Stratton and Charlotte was kind of boring. Not gonna lie.
Like, I like the ending because that I for sure thought Charlotte was gonna win. But when I was watching it, it kind of looked like Charlotte was didn't want to do it. She was sandbagging. She didn't want to do anything for Tiffany. I could be wrong, but there was like a couple of spots where it looked like she didn't want to do anything for Tiffany.
Yeah, I think they were trying to incorporate those kind of work shoot aspect of it, like how it started with the pull apart and all that. But yeah, this didn't really do much for me. Um, I'm not one of the people who thought they were just gonna start, like shooting on each other or anything. But yeah, I just wasn't into this. But I'm happy Tiffany won.
Yeah, the ending, like the ending sequence, is the one I was talking about the most. So, like, it was just very botchy, and it
Hmm.
kind of just looked like Charlotte didn't want to take anything, so they just ended it real. Like the ending sequence was weird, but I'm happy Tiffany won because Charlotte didn't need to come back and win another title. We had
Right.
someone else do that on the second night.
We sure did. I kind of think what's next. I mean, we'll have a better idea on Friday. I kind of think what's next for Tiffany is I feel like Naya is a just an easy, natural
Yeah,
path for Backlash. I mean, if she's around, I mean, some of the shit I'm seeing
uh,
about what she was saying in
yeah.
that
That's
after show,
who
I didn't listen to all of it. I didn't listen to it actually at all, but I definitely read some of the transcripts. I'm like, what the hell happened this weekend, dude? Like, this seemed like just a complete shit show.
decided that was a good idea. Well, granted, it wasn't filmed, it wasn't recorded, but fans still brought their stuff in. Yeah, no. From what it sounded like was Naya airing out a bunch of grievances, not like Killer Cross did in like a work one. She did one. Uh, no cameras, no out of off-air show, just for a crowd, and it was crazy,
Paraphrasing, she was pretty much saying that she like nobody wanted her there and she can go fuck herself, right?
more or less. And then she started talking about Charlotte not being single and all this other stuff. It was, mm,
Yeah, you can't be doing that. Um,
I don't know who thought that it was a smart idea to have Tony Hinchcliffe host a roast of WrestleMania after his backlash, but neither here nor there.
it was a mess, dude. Like it was like I didn't even talk about the PR nightmare before WrestleMania even happened. Like that was not an all-time week for them. Maybe in the pocketbook, which I mean, it's what all these companies care about at the end of the day. But like, it got ugly, man, with a lot of in a lot of different aspects. But
Maybe having it in Vegas wasn't a good idea, but
maybe not. But hey,
on
it's
420 weekend of that too.
yeah, we can't take it back though.
Did you see that video? Those people trying to leave?
I did not.
Oh Lord, I would never go to WrestleMania again.
Yeah, I mean, after it was the 35 one where everyone was stuck in the rain, it's
This one,
making me
there's a
real
video of
excited.
people going up a down escalator just to avoid crowds, and it's like at like a hill, like a steep incline.
I was at Lucas Oil for the Rumble, and that was more people than Mania. Not collectively both nights, but it was like 80,000
Yeah,
compared to the 60 they did. And it was definitely congested after the show outside, but getting in and out was not hard at all. So that's probably more of a logistic issue on.
yeah. They said it was more like a ride. Like a lot of people were waiting for ride shares, and there was just
Mhm.
really not a lot of space, I guess.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But main event for night one. Seth Rollins defeats CM Punk and Roman Reigns in 32-39 with the aid of Paul Heyman, which was insanely telegraphed. Uh,
Yeah,
it was
but
one of those things where you had the feeling it was going to happen, but you didn't really know why. Like it just didn't feel like I don't feel like either of these two necessarily need the other. But this, I mean, now that we know after Monday, this is there's a lot more there than maybe we thought. Said going into this match that whatever happens when the bell rings is house money for me. I really just want to see Punk make the walk. The video package before his entrance was tremendous. It brought a lot back for me. I remember where I was during that first vignette with the wrestling is my addiction promo.
I was sitting in my room watching TV, watching it on TV.
I was in my basement as a 10-year-old and I was only able to stay up to watch it because it aired over the summer. But yeah, it brought a lot back and people point out the yellow tights. I think it was a twofold reason. Obviously, his original ECW gear was the yellow, and he actually wore a similar set Night of Champions 2011 against Triple H. So, in the context of like full circle burying the hatchet, for better or for worse, um, there's some symbolism there with the gear, which was cool. I'll let you take the floor with the actual match though, because I think you were into it more than I was.
I mean, I was more so just into the storytelling of it because you gotta look at it as Punk was the like he brought Reigns, Rollins, and Mox in and Survivor Series. I forgot what year it was,
That would have been
but
like 2012, I believe.
yeah, I was gonna say 2012 or 2011. Can't really remember off the top of my head. Brought them in as his backup, and then to come now in 2025, full circle moment. You got these three main eventing. Did it need Heyman? No, but after Monday, I'm interested to see where we're heading now, and I think we're gonna get a female to join them soon after also what happened on Monday.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I won't be mad at that either, to be 100%. If that's the way they go, I won't be mad with that person coming back now.
Yeah, we'll stick a pin in that because I feel a lot better about this whole situation after Raw,
Yeah.
which
But
I haven't been able to say that in a long time.
like as for I guess for the match goes, I had no problem with it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. These are three. I'm a big Punk guy. We've discussed it plenty of times.
Hmm.
I love Rollins. Reigns I've gotten more into. Obviously, like with everyone else, when he came back, didn't like him when he first was here, but because they shoved him down our throats the whole time. But now it happened organically, and boom. Uh, and like you said, telegraphed. You could see it coming. Why was it coming? Now we see why. But all in all, I actually enjoyed it. This main event saved night one for me.
Yeah, it did for a lot of people. I'm I feel two ways because knowing that Heyman was all over the match from a layout point of view, you know you're gonna get a couple of things. One of those is the dialogue, one of those is the finisher spam, and we got both. I think I preferred the first half of the match a lot more. There were some really awesome sequences. Like that was probably the best spear reversal into the pedigree, at least that I can remember.
Yeah.
Like that looked awesome, and I think Roman dived over the barricade if I remember correctly.
If I'm vaguely, yeah,
The chaos of it worked, and then when they started introducing more plunder, not going off the rails per se, but I think it came to a halt when Seth started kind of giving his monologue, and then you knew where it was going. I did like the story beat of Roman backing off from doing the Shield powerbomb because of his trust issues, because the whole Roman Reigns character is all those trust issues coming to this, like boiling over, coming to service and boiling over. So, and that proved right again in this match with the finish of Heyman passing the chair to Punk only to betray both of them. I don't want to see the Shield chair shot reference for a while. I think they've leaned into it maybe a little too much with this
yeah.
program. I really thought after night one they were going to go full main event Mafia for night two.
I think that's what they wanted us to believe,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I think the main event happened the way it did.
Sure. We'll talk about the aftermath of this when we gloss over Raw. I jokingly say it's the most WWE thing ever, but the occasion, the moment, it's like Punk kind of took his victory lap, even if there wasn't the most legitimate stakes to it. Like this was thrown together at the end of the day. But for the first time in a while, I feel way better about something after Raw, like I said. So maybe having the full picture now, I will feel better about this match. But I was just kind of like, all right, that was Mania. Um, Night two, I enjoyed a whole lot more though.
And night two was actually like a WrestleMania to me
It felt like Mania for sure.
because
Because,
it was
like
on
I
a
said,
Sunday. First of all,
yeah. But I felt the whole time watching night one, like I know what I'm looking at, I know what is happening, but I just don't necessarily feel it. So, what do you need to kind of get that spark underneath you again? Is the women's world title triple threat match to kick off night two. I
this
think this was
match ruled.
easily the best match of both nights for me.
Yeah, this match ruled so hard. Probably, let me think. Yeah, probably my favorite match of both nights.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this took it
this.
for me. I think they did a good job of taking the WWE triple threat formula, but not necessarily relying on one person being outside selling the entire time.
Maybe going on a limb that I can remember in WWE, probably like one of the best women's triple threats I've seen recently. But
Yeah,
I also can't remember the last time I've seen a good one in WWE. So
the one that comes to my mind, and again, this might be some in-person bias, but they did Becky, Asuka, and Bianca at Hell in the Cell a couple years ago.
okay,
I
yeah,
remember that being really good.
yeah. I need to go back and like probably like peep in some ones. There's probably some ones I'm missing, but like